ice cream. All the ice cream in my house, in the world, and most of my stuffed animals.
My video games and, my phone.
What would you give for your freedom? Would you give your eyesight? Would you give ever seeing the sunset again? Would you give the ability to see your children's future? Thousands of brave men and women who served in the United States Armed Forces have given their eyesight in defense of our freedom. And the Blinded Veterans Association wants to give them their freedom back, but it needs your help. Go to BVA.org to find out about how BVA's free programs and services, advocacy, education, peer support, scholarships, and more help America's heroes to not just deal with the emotional and physical issues of sudden sight loss or impairment, but actually work to get them back to the independent lives they deserve to live. Go to BVA.org to find out how you can make a difference. They fought for your independence, and by going to BVA.org, you can find out how to help these veterans regain theirs. Go to BVA.org today.
What's more perfect than exploring other cultures and dipping your toes in turquoise waters? And doing these things with your family and, of course, your brothers and sisters at Wisdom for the Blind. Don't miss Wisdom for the Blind's first Caribbean Forum at Sea aboard the Carnival Celebration, with games including mini golf, a relay race, basketball, and more. There will be learning workshops in technology, the VA, and medical advancements for the blind. The cruise sets sail from Miami on October 27, 2024, and will go through amazing ports like Costa Maya and Cozumel in Mexico, and Mahogany Bay in Roatan, along with 3 spectacular days at sea. Make lasting friends and incredible memories while learning about fabulous cultures and customs. The cruise starts at just $405 per person based on double occupancy, not including taxes and fees. Go online to w4tb.org/forum or email Wisdom for the Blind at forum@w4tb.org. Book now, space is limited, and don't forget to share the wisdom and tell a friend.
Welcome to InSight to Fitness, where we prove that living a fit and healthy lifestyle is not only possible, but also incredibly rewarding for individuals who are blind or visually impaired. Produced by Wisdom for the Blind and VNS Productions, this podcast is your go-to resource for discovering fun and innovative ways to stay active and healthy. Join us as we explore new approaches to fitness and wellness, showing that limitations are just opportunities waiting to be transformed. Let's dive in and have some fun. From the studio in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, here are your hosts, Benjamin Keeley and Tyler Merren.
Keith, as always, thank you very much for that great introduction. And this is Ben and Tyler. We're here from InSight to Fitness, and I hope everyone's doing great, and thanks for joining us. Hey, Tyler, how are you doing today, buddy?
I'm back, feeling good. Everything is going well. I'm a little beat up right now, but you know, that's how it goes when you're trying to keep up with these young kids in in a sport like this. So, but feeling good. Glad to be back with you.
Well, I'm really glad that you're here. So where are you at today?
I'm actually not home. I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana currently, training with the team, kind of working on some skill set stuff, working on some drills. Our coach is up here from Florida, and so made my way down and just trying to get a few extra days in with the guys, prepping for Paris.
All right. So most of the team is up there now?
Yeah, so we have a residency program in Fort Wayne, Indiana at Turnstone Center for Adults with Disabilities. It's actually a Paralympic training site, and we've had a residency program here since 2015, I think is when it opened. So several of our athletes, we have 8 players now who are vying for the 6 spots for Paris, and 5 of them live in Fort Wayne training currently. I spent some time here before Tokyo as well. My family and I lived here for about 3 years. So spent a lot of time here in Fort Wayne, and happened to have some time in my schedule, oddly enough, and came down, spent some extra time here. One of my other teammates came up from Louisville. So yeah, just trying to get as much time on the court as we can.
Oh, that's great. And for our listeners, that's for goalball. And, Tyler's been practicing, trying to make the team. They're going to make the team announcements soon.
Yeah, so July 8th will be the official announcement for who of us makes the cut. And I'm glad I'm not the one making the decision. We got some guys who are working really hard. So I'm pretty excited about it.
Oh, great. And we're all crossing our fingers for you, my man.
Appreciate that.
I'd like to be doing a podcast from Paris.
I would love to. That'd be a lot of fun.
That would be good. Well, that's great. Hey, just wanted to also say congrats. I heard that you might be a grandpa just like me.
That's the word on the street. Yeah, my oldest daughter, who's married recently, she found out that she is peppermint, as my kids would say. And yeah, we got our first grandbaby coming. November 3rd is the due date. So very, very exciting.
That's going to be pretty tight because you're going to be with us in October.
I know. Yeah. I'm hoping the baby will either be super early or hang on for a little while, but either way, I'm super excited about it, and we'll be there. They're living close to us, and we're helping them out. So yeah, couldn't be more thrilled.
We can put a helicopter on the front of the ship there.
Hey, now you're talking.
There you go. Well, congrats. I got 2 grandkids of my own, so it's a great club to be a member of. That's what I hear. I hear the grandparent club is a lot of fun, so I'm excited about it. It is. You get to spoil them and then send them. Well, that's very cool. So congratulations to you and your wife. So that's pretty cool. And the other thing, we're just catching up. As you know, I have a little goal that I've been working on, trying to get off that walker.
I know. How's that coming along?
It's going pretty good. Walking around the house now without the walker.
Hey, brother.
Yeah, so we're getting there. I still don't have the we won't use that word, but I'm talking about they go outside without the walker.
Okay. Yeah, you'll come along. Progress, right? Little bits of progress here and there. We're always progressing. I like it. Good job.
But yeah, we're almost down to where I want to be, the 199. So we're down to 215. So almost there. But
keep it up. Great work.
Good. But those are some of the things I wanted to talk about. One was today in our little podcast. I want to get into. I read some things about the Mediterranean diet, and I also want to talk about muscles, building the strength, and you and I talked a little bit about that a few days ago. But before we get into that stuff, I don't want to forget that Jose from Florida Vision wanted me to tell you hello.
Shout out to Jose. Great guy. You ever need some access technology, he's your man.
Yeah, he's a great guy. We have a little standing joke. So I was actually on a phone call with him and another colleague yesterday, and he jumped into the call. And I'm just the worst for names, as Bree and you guys know. I kept on calling you Tyler and Taylor the other day. But so I mix him up, and I mix him up with Josh from another organization. So I'll call Jose Josh and Josh Jose. So he jumped on the call the other day, and I said, "What's happening, Josh?" He said, "No, my name's Jose." I said, "No, it's not. It's Josh." Finally realized. He's like, "Okay, Ben, that's enough." But he's a great guy. We do a lot of work together with Wisdom Tech Talk and stuff. So he's pretty knowledgeable. And those guys over at Florida Vision, they're great people to know.
Agreed.
Lisa, the whole team over there is great. But anyway, I had to just pass that message on to you. So the other day, I was listening to my podcast and stuff like that, and they were talking about that the American Heart Foundation is really getting behind the Mediterranean diet for heart health. What do you think about that?
This is interesting that you found this article and that they're kind of coming around to, because I remember, and full full disclosure, right? Like, I'm not a registered dietitian. I'm not a registered nutritionist, but studied it a lot as a personal trainer and did some work on it while I was getting my degree at Western Michigan University. And I remember being in class many moons ago talking about the Mediterranean diet and its positive effects on health. So, this is certainly, it's great that it's being acknowledged. It has been known for a little time now. And it's fascinating to me because, Ben, as you're probably aware, there's a lot of variation when it comes to diets that are out there. There's a lot of fads, and this group says never eat meat, only vegetables and fruits. This group says never eat vegetables and fruits, only eat meat. And there's the paleo diet, and there's the keto diet, and there's me personally, I worked with my clients. I was never really a fan of any diet that said, yeah, don't ever eat that entire food group. Maybe you remember in the 80s and 90s, it was like fats are the worst, right? Low fat, everything has to be low fat. Fat's the enemy. And, fat's one of the 3 macronutrients for your body. Your body needs fat to survive.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry, but isn't it true that, like, what you're going is, if you start taking one of those things away, your body tries to go the other direction trying to find it?
Yeah. It really, and so I don't, and I'm not trying to knock any. There's probably somebody listening to this right now, like, man, I love the keto diet. Don't knock my keto diet, and that's fine. It works for some people. And some people find great success with it. I never really pushed it very much with my clients because, again, you're cutting out an entire macronutrient. You're cutting out carbohydrates, and there's a lot of benefits that your body can get from those when consumed in the right ways, in the right varieties. So, yeah, the Mediterranean diet, which is heavier in oils, in fats. They're finding that this is really beneficial for heart health, which is a total turnaround from, again, the kind of 80s and 90s push of no fats. This is going to be way better for people, no fats. And then you see more heart disease and more chronic illnesses kind of spring out of that. So, yeah, it's really kind of a reversal with this Mediterranean diet.
It's so funny because you see and you hear all these things change, but I always believe that, a good balanced, meal with the vegetables and, a good protein kind of thing is a nice balance. And on the Mediterranean, that's pretty what it is. Isn't it just a strong balance on vegetables and protein?
Yeah, it's a good helping of vegetables, right? Seafood, I think, is a bit more prevalent in the Mediterranean diet. I'm trying to dig back in my mental archives to the things that kind of make that up. But, definitely seafood, where you get a lot more of those kind of fatty omega-3, omega-6 protein fats in there that are kind of built into the fish proteins. Olive oil, those types of things. But yeah, I'm with you, Ben. When I would talk to my clients, it's just balanced meals, extra fruits and veggies, have some protein. And there was a couple general rules of thumb, right, that I would tell my clients to stick to. One of the primary ones is, we would tell them, eat closer to the source. Typically the less processed something is, the better it is for you. I think the term now is eating more whole food. That's a really big one.
Yeah, I heard the phrase, eating closer to the earth and stuff like that.
Yeah,
is becoming, at the same time that I was listening about the Mediterranean diet, they were also talking about how processed foods is becoming more and more and more of a no-no because of different diseases and stuff, and all the preservatives and all that are being put into the foods.
If you do some research on the science that is put into the processing of foods, and processing, it's a general term, right? That can mean a lot of different things, but the processing of food and how scientifically it's designed to trigger certain reactions and responses in your nerves and your digestion in your brain to get you to eat it more. It's not the reason I think that it's really good to eat closer to the earth, eat closer to the source, eat more whole foods, is because it's not tinkered with in a way that tells your brain like you want more of this. One of the best examples I've heard, and I might mix up the numbers here, but a bag of potato chips, I've been told, contains about 5 to 6 potatoes in a bag of potatoes. It takes about 5 or 6 potatoes to make a bag of potato chips. Now, you could sit down. People will say, like, you could sit down and eat an entire bag of potato chips because they're salted and crispy and they've got fat on them and they're designed to be taste good. Try sitting down and eating 5 or 6 baked potatoes, right? Like, it ain't happening.
And I'm Irish and I love potatoes. So.
Yeah, me too. And potatoes have gotten a bad rap. Potatoes are quite good for you. And so, yeah, just an example, right, of how that processing can really change the game a lot for people.
Oh, I hear you. And, there's a little brand out there that comes in a little can. Don't want to mention anything, but I can down one of those cans with no problem whatsoever.
Of course. And that's what they're designed for you to do. They're engineered to be that way, and so those are the things that you want to think about. I always tell my clients, again, general rule of thumb, eat closer to the earth, eat closer to the source, more fruits and veggies, and I think in our traditional American diet, like, we don't get enough fruits and veggies. Drink more water. Most of us are dehydrated. Again, all of this comes with caveats. You may have a medical condition that says, you're not supposed to take in quite that much water, but most of us would benefit from drinking more water. So these are things that I think are really good to focus on. As Mediterranean diet, I think, checks a lot of those boxes. That's why it's so healthy, but there are definitely ways to approach it like that can be beneficial.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, I think the producer's yelling at us in our ears there. It's time for us to check in at the studio and see what's happening. But I hope our audience will stay with us, and we got some more great stuff. And Tyler, thanks for your feedback on the Mediterranean diet and eating healthy. We'll be right back. Just stay with us. This is Ben and Tyler with InSight to Fitness.
Wisdom for the Blind is dedicated to doing everything we can for the blind and sight impaired. If you'd like to bless us with a donation to keep the website, the podcast, the webinars, and the radio station operating, we can't express how grateful we'd be. You can go to the website at w4tb.org. That's4tb.org, and hit the donation button. Or you can mail it to Wisdom for the Blind Incorporated. Attention donations. 1005 Marine Mile Boulevard, Suite 255, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33315. Wisdom for the Blind is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Remember, it's tax deductible. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts at Wisdom for the Blind.
Looking for a fitness app that is accessible for the blind? Well, look no further. Revision Fitness is just what the trainer ordered. This audio and text-based fitness program has a wide selection of fitness options, including cardio, strength, yoga, balance, flexibility, and even progressive relaxation sessions. Download Revision Fitness on the App Store or Google Play, or visit revisionfitnessapp.com and get a free 14-day trial for new users. Find your fit with Revision Fitness. And as always,
Revision Fitness. Let's change the way we look at it.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB Radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Everybody, thanks for coming back. This is Ben and Tyler with Insights of the Fitness from the Wisdom of the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale. Hey, so at your camp there, are you doing like morning workouts or what's your day like?
Yeah, so when we're gearing up for an event like the Paralympics, which is a big one, it's the regiment tends to be a little bit heavier. So we are 2-a-days right now and sometimes 3. So I got in Sunday night and Monday morning we had a session on the court from 7 to 9. So that's, get in at 6 a.m. to the gym, get warmed up, stretched out. We've got a whole series of warm ups that we do, court runs and, court runs being like high knees, heel kicks, skip for height, side steps, just all the like primary movements to get the body moving in the right way, set up for blocking and throwing movement patterns, go into some drills and scrimmages. So we'll do that, similar in the evening. So total of 4 hours a day, give or take, on the court. And then in the middle of the day, we have a strength training session 3 days a week right now. So we're tapering back on our strength training just a little bit, kind of doing maintenance sets. So 3x5s in the weight room on hang cleans and front squats. And then some accessory lifts, single arm deadlifts, single arm dumbbell row, chest flies, reverse flies, some core work. We're doing plank walks and landmines. And I'm probably throwing a bunch of these names out there and Ben's thinking like, what in the world is a...
When you're done talking, the next thing I was going to say is, okay, so tell me what this is and explain to our guests how we do one of those, because I don't know.
Yeah, no, these are, I'm throwing a lot of names out there. It depends on which ones you want to know about. But like, strength training, hang cleans, couple different ways. A power clean is from the floor. So imagine a long, heavy metal bar with weights on each end, and it's just resting on the floor. You step up to it and kind of squat down over the bar and grab it just on the outsides of your legs. So your hands are kind of shoulder width, arms are straight. And then kind of in one, there's a couple of sequences to it, but in one kind of fluid movement, you stand up straight, you pop your hips and shoulders up, flip the weight up to your shoulders and drive your elbows through so that the weight goes straight from the floor up to resting on the front of your shoulders and arms, and then drop the weight back down and do it again. It's kind of it's meant for explosive power and speed. So, an example of some of the things we do.
And kind of like a deadlift.
It's a deadlift, but with an extra pop at the top. So a deadlift is like the weight's sitting on the floor. You grab the bar and you're just standing up straight with it. So the weight's kind of hanging down by your thighs. The cleans, the power cleans, you're pulling the weight all the way up to your shoulders and kind of, catching it on the front of your shoulders with your arms elevated forward. So it's a bit of an extra move from the deadlift, but yes, similar idea.
So the things that you talked about in your kind of daily routine, why don't we go to the stretching in the beginning and explain some of those procedures so our guys can do it at home?
Yeah. So, maybe this is just a byproduct of me getting older too, but I've learned in life how important it is to make sure that your body is trained in a way that is balanced. So one of the things that I teach a lot is something called the 4Q model of exercise. So if you take the majority of exercises, kind of break them into 4 quadrants. You have one quadrant that's strength, right? Which, is how much weight can you pick up, or how well can you move your own body weight through different motions. Another category is endurance, right? So you're thinking, swimming, running, biking, something kind of more aerobic, long duration. Then the 2 other categories, you have flexibility. So being able to move through a good range of motion with stability. And then the last one being balance. And, so balance, coordination, being able to stand upright without wobbling, balancing on one foot, coordinating your movements. So, it's important to try to build your body in all 4 of these categories. So when we warm up for our fitness routines for the team, and I recommend for people in general, we warm up with some balance maneuvers and some what's called dynamic stretches. So a good example of a good dynamic stretch is a forward lunge, arching your back. So you're standing in one place, arms are down at your side. Take kind of a medium step forward with one leg, reach your arms up, kind of arch your back, look up at the sky. And what this is going to do is it's going to stretch your chest, shoulders, your hip flexor, and kind of arch your back into a good stretch mobility position. Then you step back and repeat with the other leg. So you're balancing, you're coordinating, you're stretching, and all of these things lend themselves to positive health gains.
So let's talk about that one. So if I was to do it, I'd be standing straight up like I'm standing at attention. I would put one leg forward, lean forward with my arms straight out and looking up at the ceiling.
Arms follow your eyes. So yeah, you take that, okay. Standing at attention, you take that kind of medium step forward, then hands kind of sweep up towards the ceiling as you arch your back and look up towards your hands. And you're trying to think like keeping that back foot, that foot that didn't move. You're trying to keep that foot flat on the floor and that back leg nice and straight. And you're arching back to try to get that hip stretched out.
Okay. Do you hold that for a few seconds before you come back? Or
exactly. So with a dynamic stretch, there are kind of 2 primary stretching methods. It's dynamic and static. So a static stretch is your traditional, I'm sitting on the floor, or I'm reaching down to touch my toes, and I'm going to hold it for 20, 30 seconds. That's a static, you're not moving. So a dynamic stretch would be, I'm going to step into that stretch that I just described. I'm going to hold it for 2 or 3 seconds, then I'm going to come back out. And then I'm going to step back into it, hold it 2, 3 seconds, come back out. And you kind of rinse and repeat 5, 6 times. And that dynamic stretching kind of slowly allows the muscle to reach its endpoint and come back, and it brings heat into the muscle. Really good to do dynamic stretching before a workout and static stretching after. That's the general rule.
Can you repeat that one more time?
Dynamic stretching before a workout and static stretching after a workout is generally what you want to focus on. And so static being kind of that reach and hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then talk to me in that same procedure. When I go to the therapist for my legs and stuff, they have me do so many replications of it. What's the purpose of, 4 sets of 20? Why are we doing that? What's that purpose?
So I think it kind of depends on the situation. If you're dealing with a physical therapist, there's probably some sort of imbalance, and you're trying to strengthen a muscle group or improve range of motion or something that requires generally a certain number of repetitions and sets. So the idea with sets and repetitions is you're going to place some type of resistance on your body, some type of resistance on your muscles, and you're going to force those muscles through their contraction with that added resistance. And the resistance creates greater tension. There's actually 3 triggers for muscle growth. And it forces the muscles to develop and become stronger. Ben, the saying, if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Like that's kind of a cliche saying that people will throw out there.
Well, that's
but generally it's true.
So
yeah,
I didn't lose it.
Right.
I lost it. So
exactly. Yeah. And so it's a real thing. Your body is very adaptable in so many ways. We are very adaptable creatures. And so strength training is literally designed to say, okay, muscles, you need to grow. You need to be stronger and more durable. And so bands, weights, water resistance, there's magnetic resistance. These are all ways that you can place extra tension on your muscles to get them to grow and become stronger, so that daily activities like just walking around or reaching down and picking something up become much, much easier to do.
So the name of the exercise that we talked about, what would we call that?
The stretch that we talked about. So it's an anterior hip stretch.
Okay.
So it's kind of that lunge forward, arch your back. I think anybody who does yoga, you'd consider that kind of crescent pose in yoga. If anybody's a yoga fan out there,
that's perfect. So what's funny is that you and I in our pre-talks, we talked about muscle building and strength, and now we're leading into that. So I think it would be a good time. Before we move on to get to that, we're going to jump onto the studio for a little break. But how many times would you recommend doing that one exercise?
I think that type of exercise can be done every day, multiple times a day. And there's a couple of counter exercises to that as well. So, you get that step forward, arch your back. That stretches the front of your hip. And then the opposing movement, the opposite direction, is instead of stepping forward and arching your body up, you actually take a step back and bring your chest down and sweep your hands down and back behind you to stretch the other side of your hip. So a lot of exercising and stretching and balancing your body out has to do with opposing movements and learning those opposing movements. There in the Revision Fitness program, I have a full dynamic warm up that I recommend anybody do multiple times a day if they want to, because mobilizing and stretching your body is it's difficult to do it too much, right? It's a good thing for your body.
Well, sounds good. So we're going to check into the studio for another quick little break, and when we come back, how about we talk a little bit about muscle building?
Sounds good to me.
All right. So stick with us. This is Ben and Tyler from InSight to Fitness at the Wisdom for the Blind Studios. We'll be right back. Stick with us.
Do you enjoy a good read? Or do you enjoy sharing new books with friends? Then join us on the second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Wisdom Books, a virtual book club just for the blind or visually impaired. You can also hear a pre-recorded episode on Wisdom Radio every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more information, go to w4tb.org and click the link Wisdom Books for more information. And please don't forget to share the wisdom.
Veterans deserve as much help as they can get. They put their lives on the line for their country, and yet there's still an ongoing mental health crisis among military veterans that needs to be addressed. Well, if you're a veteran who wants the support of fellow veterans and to support fellow veterans, join Wisdom for the Blind's Cup of Joe virtual coffee and chat. It's low-key, fun, and gives veterans an outlet to talk with others who fully understand what they're going through. Get connected at Wisdom for the Blind's website, w4tb.org/cupofjoe.
You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
And this has been Tyler. We're back to you from Fitness, InSight to Fitness in the Wisdom Studios. And I'm getting so excited that I just want to try some of these things, Tyler.
I'm glad for it, man.
Talk to me about muscle and some of the exciting things that we can do to just bring our health up to speed there.
Absolutely. I want to put a little context in, because I don't want anybody to tune out right now. I know there's some demographics out there that might think, I'm not bodybuilding, I'm not lifting all that weight. And I'm like, don't tune out yet. Just listen for a second, because there's so many benefits to strength training, to focusing on building muscle tone, whether you're young or old, male, female, it doesn't matter. Building up strength is very, very beneficial for your health. It really, really is. It checks so many boxes. Improving your muscle tone can help protect your joints, calcify bones. Females' consideration for osteoporosis helps build up the density of your bones, balance out hormones, improve blood circulation. Like, there's just a tremendous number of things. So definitely keep listening, because don't assume that strength training is not for you. It really is important for anybody and everybody.
One of the things I heard an article that really preached the importance of building that and working that muscle. And exactly what you were saying, it's not all about pumping up. It's about, getting the muscle, activating, and it actually does more to other parts of your body, the hormones and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, one of the biggest goals that people have when you talk about fitness is weight loss. Everybody like, I want to lose weight. I want to lose 10 pounds. I want to lose 20 pounds, maybe more, maybe less. But, when I was full-time training, my first question for them would always be, okay, tell me why. And that's fine. It's okay to have that goal, but tell me why. And there was, I don't feel good. I don't feel like I look good. I want to look better. I want to feel better. My clothes aren't fitting right. Whatever okay. So let me ask you this question. Okay. So if I had a magic wand with me, I waved it over you. I took, 10 pounds of fat off your body and put 10 pounds of muscle in its place. Now, if I did that, muscle, which is way more functional, way more protective for your body, way more compact, right? You would look much, much leaner and smaller, like tighter, fitter. The scale would not change one iota, but you would look much better and you would feel much better. Is that what you want? In 100% of the time, yes, that is what I want, right? So, people talk about this like, I want to lose weight, and that's okay. But really, the deeper, more beneficial thing they should be focused on is this right here, is this strength training thing that we're talking about. Just so many things that will benefit in doing this. So yeah, you got me up on my soapbox now, Ben. I'm getting fired up because
let's rock and roll. Share it with us.
It's my topic. So let's talk a little bit about strength training. Like, what does that mean? What is strength training? So as we mentioned earlier, like we're applying some resistance to the skeletal muscles of the body. So we're talking about, your biceps, your triceps, the arms and legs, glutes, back, shoulders, the stuff that mobilizes us, gets us around. So there are actually 3 different triggers for muscle growth. Tension, muscular tension is one of them. So that's like, I'm picking up something heavy. I'm picking up some big resistance, and there are sensors, there are nerves in your muscles that say, whoa, this is heavy, sends a signal to your brain and says, brain, this is a lot we're picking up here. We need to release hormones and other things that will help build this muscle so we're not tearing, ripping up muscles. And your brain sends out those hormones and you build up muscle. So picking up something heavy, so let's talk about what does that mean, picking up something heavy. And I used to see this all the time, my female clients especially. I'm not picking on females, but it's just a good example. They go into their classes, they pick up their 2-pound dumbbells and they, do some exercises with it. I'm not knocking it. It's cool. But man, you pick up more than 2 pounds every time you stand up out of the chair, push yourself up out of bed. Like, your muscles are way stronger than that, right? Like, way stronger. And so, think about the things you may do on a daily basis. If you're a parent or a grandparent, you're bending over, picking up your toddler, who probably weighs 25, 30, 40, 50 pounds, who knows? And you're picking them up and carrying them around. And then you go into the weight room and you're like, I'll grab the 5-pound dumbbells. Come on, you were way stronger than that. I think people are afraid to pick up heavier weights because they're afraid of hurting themselves. But you do the research on how the movements are supposed to be done. You do them slow and controlled, in that stable environment. You learn the biomechanics. And weightlifting is so safe when you have those things in place, and is so beneficial for your body. I just can't highlight it enough.
What are some of the main benefits, in your body when you're building that muscle? What, your metabolism, what's happening?
Yeah, metabolism's a big one. So, again, weight loss goal. I want to lose weight. Muscle is very active tissue. The more muscle you have on your body, the more calories you will burn just sitting around. You and I are sitting in a chair right now talking to each other on this podcast. The muscle that we have stored up on our bodies is eating up calories right now. And so when you add to that, it's like getting compound interest on money in a savings account, right? Like, you're just going. I just turned 40 recently, and
oh my God.
I know, I was just old man over here.
Talk about where I'm at, buddy.
I won't make you state it. It's fine. But I still, a lot of people are like, oh man, after I got out of high school, turned 25, turned 30, 35, like that's when everything went downhill. I could still, I can't eat enough food to keep up with the high burn metabolism that I have. Now, I do stay very active, right? We're exercising a lot, but I carry a fairly hefty amount of extra muscle on my body compared to the average person. I've been lifting weights most of my life. I've been training hard most of my life for sport. My metabolism is high because of that fact, right? So you want to lose weight, start picking up some weights. It sounds a little weird, right? But you get your muscle built up, your metabolism goes crazy, you have more energy, it's really, really beneficial for many, many reasons.
When your metabolism is energized and start functioning, that leads into weight loss, right?
It does, yep. So you feel more energetic, you feel like you can move better. So yeah, it's a snowball effect. It builds on itself.
Up then.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep, it's great. So, first trigger to muscle growth is tension, picking up some heavier weights, right? Challenging yourself. Again, staying safe, controlled. Should always be able to control the weights, whatever exercise you're doing. The second one is metabolic tension. I'm blanking on the word right now. Metabolic stress. That's what I was going for. So this is where I'm not necessarily thinking about super heavy weights, but some more repetitions. That's your 4x 15 or 20 with a little lighter resistance, where you're getting more of a burning sensation. You're getting some lactic acid buildup in the muscles. It's a metabolic stress. It's muscular endurance is another way to say it. So, there's certainly a place for doing lighter weights and more repetitions. Whereas the first set we talked about was kind of more like a fewer repetitions and find some heavier weights to lift up. So that's the second trigger to think about.
Is that where they come up with the phrase "no pain, no gain"?
They do say that. Yeah. I think that there is certain places and ideas where that is applicable. But for the general person, the average person, I very much try to press to them, like, I don't want you to be in pain when you work out. Like, a lot of people, they go into the gym and they're like, if I don't crush myself and if I can't, if I am not hobbling around the next day, then I didn't do enough. Now it's too much, right? The ideal place to be is I'm going to the gym. When I get done with my workout, I feel great. I'm getting stronger and I'm not super sore the next day. I can walk around. I feel really good. That's where you want to be. So
right in the middle.
Kind of in the middle. If you see your strength going up and you're being consistent, but you're not super sore and you're not, run down, like you're in a great spot. I'm one of the small percentage that, like, I'm an elite athlete. I'm playing the sport where I have to beat myself up to get that extra 0.5% that we're looking for. But that's not the majority. You don't want that to be the case.
So what's the, we talk about the workout and the fine line and getting that metabolism going and working and stretching those muscles. What's the truth or the fiction in regards to, well, we have to skip a day because we worked out yesterday and get over the pain and all that stuff? Is there, any rhyme or reason to that? Or should we do a consistent, steady, stretching those muscles every day, a little and little and little?
Yeah, I think the answer is not super clear cut, but let me give you a few basic facts and I think we can sort that out. So when we talk about the two triggers, right, tension and metabolic stress, there's the third trigger, which is actually muscular damage. Okay, so I mentioned earlier, like, hey, your brain sends out the signal and we don't want to tear the muscles or we got to build them up. Anytime you exercise, you are actually micro tearing the muscle fibers. Okay, you are placing stress on those fibers and they will break down from the exercise you're doing. So in order for your body to become stronger, you have to give it time to repair and recover. You don't actually get stronger from your workouts. When you're done with your workout, you are weaker from doing it. And that's okay. You shouldn't feel like you're about to pass out. You should still feel like you're energized. You should feel good, but you are technically weaker. It's when you take the time to recover, you get good nutrients in your body and you get good quality sleep, that your body goes in, repairs that damage and kind of rebuilds it stronger for the next bout. Right. So yes, the general rule of thumb is like, hey, give it 48 hours to repair a muscle group. So, you do an upper body workout on Monday, you should probably wait until Wednesday to do the next one. But there's a lot of nuances in there. If you're doing just, light resistance exercises, not a big deal. You could repeat some of those day after day. If it's super duper heavy and you're super sore, maybe taking an extra 2 or 3 days to recover is good. You can kind of mix and match exercises, upper body one day, lower body next. It's called a split. So there's different ways to kind of work around that, but listening to your body is really important. You feel run down, you should take some extra time to let your body recuperate.
That's some great information. It's very cool. Is there a difference between weightlifting and using like bands or jugs, something like that?
Yeah, I think that's just a different form of resistance, right? So weightlifting, you've got heavy weights compared to that are resisting due to gravity. Bands, you've got more of an elastic resistance. I like both. I use both. I think that bands are really great for certain exercises. Bands are great to start with if you're not a huge resistance training person. Maybe you've been sedentary for a while. I think bands are a great place to start. Certainly weights are something that I think everybody should find eventually, because I think there's only so much resistance you can create with the bands. But, different modalities and different ways that people can exercise their body, both very good for you.
Great. Well, it's time for us to check back in with the studio. This is Tyler and Ben. We're InSight the Fitness. We're having a great conversation today in regards to muscle. We will be right back. Stick with us. We got some more exciting things to come.
VA's Office of Blind Rehabilitation Services estimates there are approximately 130,000 veterans in the United States who are legally blind, and more than 1 million veterans who have low vision that causes a loss of ability to perform necessary daily activities. In this era of instant communication, where we get overwhelmed with data or facts that are useless to unsighted individuals, wouldn't it be great if we could count on news focused on real problems that impact the daily lives of veterans without sight? Introducing Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, an advanced informational portal designed by blind veterans specifically for blind and vision impaired vets that, like them, are facing challenges every day. Hi. My name is Ben, and I know the frustration. I've struggled in day-to-day tasks for over 20 years since I lost my eyesight. One of my biggest challenges has always been trying to stay up to date with the latest information of my eye disease, local news, and the ever-changing technology. I wanted to be able to have one single site that merged all the data scattered, and that's why we created Wisdom for Blinded Vets. This is a portal that can be accessed via the web, a smartphone app, telephone, email, text messaging, or Amazon's Alexa. It integrates with readers such as JAWS or Apple's VoiceOver and various other tools to give you a seamless experience. This portal will keep us updated on a variety of topics and will share knowledge that can help make our lives easier and more fulfilled. Highlights of the topics covered on the portal include podcasts, events, news, blind rehab and training, information on the BVA and other groups, a list of coordinator and bros list, online groups to interact with fellow vets facing the same challenges, and much more. Give us a try. You will not be disappointed. To learn more about us, visit our website www.w4bv.org. If you're interested in sharing your knowledge, please consider becoming a contributor by logging into our portal and going to the contributor section for more information. Wisdom for Blinded Veterans, transforming blind veterans' lives.
Wisdom for the Blind is dedicated to doing everything we can for the blind and sight impaired. If you'd like to bless us with a donation to keep the website, the podcast, the webinars, and the radio station operating, we can't express how grateful we'd be. You can go to the website at w4tb.org. That's4tb.org and hit the donation button. Or you can mail it to Wisdom for the Blind Incorporated. Attention donations. 1005 Marine Mile Boulevard, Suite 255, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33315. Wisdom for the Blind is a not-for-profit 501c3 organization. Remember, it's tax deductible. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts at Wisdom for the Blind. You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Everybody, thanks for coming back, man. We've had a great conversation. This is Ben and Tyler. We're coming to you from Fort Lauderdale Studios, and this is InSight to Fitness. Hey, Tyler, that was very cool about the muscles. So
yeah, it got me hyped up. I did some push-ups on our break, just giving. No, I'm just kidding. I'm exhausted right now, but but I love this topic, man. It's very cool. And I think I mentioned this earlier too. Like, I don't push this stuff because I think everybody should be a bodybuilder. Like, I push it because so many good health gains to be had from it. I don't want to beat that horse too much, but boy, oh boy, I've seen people's lives change when this light bulb goes on, and it's very exciting.
Well, I can tell you for a fact that if you don't move, it weakens. And, the VA has a great program called the MOVE program just to help, do that. One of the things that I'm doing in my therapy to get my legs back up to strength is sit to stand. And, when I first started doing that, I couldn't even stand up. It was just the legs didn't have enough strength. But, now I'm whipping them out. And I thought it was like cool until the trainer said, well, okay, that's great. That's so easy. Okay, let's do this. It's like, wait a second.
Us trainers always have something up our sleeve for you, so you gotta be proud, pat yourself on the back for your accomplishment, and it's on to the next task.
Yeah. So
I love it. And, I want to be mindful too that I don't want people walking away from this thinking like, that's not me. I'm in my 60s. I'm in my 70s. I've never lifted weights. I've never trained. I was in the fitness center once. Many times. But one particular time that I was there and walking around, I didn't have a client at the time. I was picking up weights and cleaning things up and talking with one of the guys that was there. And he was training with what they're called battle ropes. And they're just like long, heavy, thick pieces of rope that, you grab the end and you can do different exercises. You kind of pick it up and slam it down and shake it around and stuff. And it's, it can be pretty challenging. So I'm doing this exercise and, he's sitting nice and tall, squatting down, moving the ropes around. His back was nice and straight, good posture, good shoulders. I'm talking with him about it and, hey, you did pretty good on that. And he said, yeah, not bad for 82, huh? I said, 82? He said, yeah, I'm 82 years old. I thought, good grief, man. Like, it was fantastic. Like, he's moving, he's not Mr. Olympia. He's not picking up 1,000 pounds, but, he's keeping himself moving and he's doing great. And he said, I started doing it one day and I just kept doing it. I do these different machines and these exercises and I feel great. So, just encouraging people to take some of the information we're dropping today and apply it.
And that's very cool. And there's a lot of programs out there, Silver Sneakers and all kinds of ARP programs. And, there's all kinds of programs out there. And one thing I want to stress, just because you have vision impairment issue doesn't mean that you can't work out, doesn't mean you can't move around and keep on moving.
Amen. Absolutely true. There are resources to help. I've put together some resources to assist with people who are visually impaired to learn about fitness, to learn about exercise. Your body, just because you're visually impaired, doesn't mean your body doesn't need those things, right? We can't let that be a barrier to good quality of life and health. Will it take you some extra work to figure it out? Will it take you some extra practice? Yeah, it will. But it'll be worth it. You are worth it. You are worth the effort to put into this to learn how your body moves, to strengthen it properly, to get it to the optimal health that you can be at, it will be worth it.
That's so true. And you're excuse me, you're your own advocate. You have to, defend yourself and, it's your responsibility to watch what you put in your mouth and make sure that you do your own, your own abilities to get out there and keep yourself healthy.
You are right. Yep. We gotta make it happen. One of the things I share when I give my motivational speeches, my presentations, one of my nuggets is nobody's going to seize success for you. You got to go out and grab it. You got to be the one to do it. And in this area in particular, I think there's just so many gains to be had when your body feels good, right? When you move well and you can do the things you want to do, you can get down on the floor and play with your grandkids because you're moving right. And it's just a beautiful thing. It really is such a special thing that you have done for yourself at that point. So can't encourage you enough to jump in there, to get a resistance band kit, pick up, some guides, hire a trainer if you need to, do some research, use some of the resources I've put together to learn some of these movements. Learning fitness it's like a musical instrument, right? I think sometimes people get embarrassed when it's like, hey, do you do fitness? I don't really know how to do that, but they don't want to talk about it because people assume that they should be able to, they assume that they should be fit. It's like playing an instrument. Ben, if I came to you and said, hey, here's a harmonica, play this for me. You're like, I don't know how to play that. You wouldn't be embarrassed by it. It's just a skill you haven't developed yet. I assume anyway. I don't know. Maybe you play a mean harmonica. I don't know.
No, but it's any skill. It's any skill.
Yeah, right.
When you think you're too old to learn, then you have an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And fitness, exercise, it's a skill. It's a skill to be learned that pays great dividends. So be patient with yourself. Take the time to learn and apply it little by little. You make mistakes along the way, and that's okay, but it will benefit you.
Do me a favor. I know for a fact that you've spent a lot of time and energy, and you have built a great toolkit for people that are vision impaired and blind. Can you share some of those tools with us? Absolutely.
So a couple of different things. I have a Facebook group called Revision Training with Tyler Merren, fitness VIPs. Totally free, obviously, Facebook group. You can join and ask questions and get resources there. I have a YouTube channel with accessible videos on exercising, nutrition, different fitness and health tips. Again, all free. I also developed a fitness program that can be found on Apple or Android products and on the web. So the program is called Revision Fitness. It's an app that you can download, or you can go to revisionfitnessapp.com. You can sign up for a free 2-week trial. If you haven't had one in the past, you can sign up, get 2 weeks free on there, and it's all accessible fitness information, anything from super basic, what is good posture, basic biomechanical movements, all the way to push-ups and squats and burpees and yoga poses, strength training, cardio, all that stuff.
What's a burpee?
What's a burpee? Yeah. You want to know? It'll make you cry when I explain it to you, but
What's a burpee?
All right. So burpee, we're standing up at attention. Okay. Got plenty of room around you and nothing right over your head. So you're going to squat down, okay, all the way to the floor where you're in a low seated position. You put your hands on the floor, okay? Hands are on the floor. You hop your feet up and shoot your feet back behind you so that your legs are straight and you're now in a push-up position. You're on your hands and your toes. You're in a high plank. And then you jump your feet back in. Okay, so now you're back into that crouch position, and then you stand up straight again.
Wow.
That is one variation. Now, a lot of people will, as they come back to the standing position, they'll jump, A lot of people that as you shoot your feet out into that push-up position, you drop down, do a push-up. So there's a lot of variations, but it's a very quick down, shoot your feet out, bring your feet in, jump. Down, shoot your feet out, bring your feet in, jump. It's a quick, repetitive, awful exercise.
I think that one's stretching every muscle you got there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It works everything. That's actually, our session this morning. If anybody threw a penalty, the entire team did 5 burpees. Yeah. So
wow.
learn to love them. But yeah, the resources that I put together, it's for beginners, it's for intermediate, it's for advanced. There's some updates that are coming out with some really cool features that I'm adding in. I have a resistance band workouts on there. I have a recommended equipment section. So there's a couple of like a good resistance band kit that I have recommended on there, some yoga mats. So lots and lots of resources for you guys to check out to try to help you along in this journey.
Well, that's very cool. Yeah. And if you go to W4TV, that's the W4TV.org, go under affiliates, you'll see a link to all that information you can get there. That's pretty cool. So I got a question. So after a whole day of work at your training camp, what do you guys do? Do you guys jump into the jacuzzi? What do you do?
Some good recovery time. Yeah. So there's a therapeutic pool here at Turnstone. So some guys will get moving in the water to kind of stretch their muscles and joints out. We have foam rollers and hypervolts, which are percussion guns. So you can you turn this thing. It looks like a jackhammer, and you turn it on and you put it against the muscle, and it rapidly kind of like hits the muscle to kind of break up some of the swelling and soreness in the muscles. We have Normatec devices, which is like imagine slipping on like a big fabric-y pair of pants that's hooked up to a tube, and you turn this machine on, and it pumps air into the kind of sleeves that are over your legs and squeezes your legs like a tube of toothpaste, kind of pumps the swelling out of your legs.
You joke about that. Actually, I have one of those machines that I use to build up for the lymphedema to get all the fluids out of my legs.
They're great. They're great, aren't they? I really like using them. Your legs feel so much better when you're done.
I enjoy it. It's a great tool that I have, and it actually works very well. So.
Yep. Lots of recovery tools. We have a strength and conditioning coach. We have a team dietitian. We have a team sports psychologist. We have a team athletic trainers. So we got lots of good resources to kind of help us out along the way. We still find reasons to complain and moan, but we are treated pretty well.
Well, that's very cool. And I'm looking forward to hearing the good news in July 8th. And we'll be thinking about you on that. We
appreciate
talked a lot about great things. And one of the things that I want to also bring out is that on October 27th, you're going to be joining us for the Wisdom Form at Sea. And that's going to be great because you're going to do some exciting things in the morning while I'm sleeping.
I am crashing your party, and there's no way you're sleeping through it. I'm going to drag you out of your bunk. Yeah, I'm going to be there. I got the big invite. I feel really special for that. I'm going to join you guys. I'm going to do some keynote presentations. I'm going to do some breakout sessions and share some of my gathered wisdom for what it's worth. So yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Well, that's cool, and we look forward to having you there. And go on the web, w4tv.org, look under Forum at Sea, and get the latest information. We got a whole bunch of other exciting things occurring, but I'm looking forward to hearing all about that morning workout when I'm sitting by the pool watching you.
Looks like we're doing a pool workout, fellas.
I have a feeling that you will not let me be sitting down.
I will not let you sit. Yeah, you're going to be up and moving, my friend.
But
good. All because I care about you.
Well, that's what friends are all about.
That's
this
right.
has been a great session, and I want to remind our listeners that if you have a question about anything, you can send it to info@w4tv.org. we'll play it on the radio and on the news and on the podcast, and we'll get those answered for you. So, your feedback is welcome. But in closing, anything that we missed that you want to talk about besides how much you're looking forward to being a grandfather?
That is the big thing right now. No, I'm very excited that we got to talk about this. I really hope that if you're listening, if you have questions, reach out and see what we can do to answer them. We're here to help, and I'm just glad to have this chance with you, Ben. I appreciate you having me on.
I appreciate it. So we're going to throw it to the studio just for some updated information about some things, and then we'll be back to close it up. So once again, this is Ben and Tyler for Insights of the Fitness, and we're at the Wisdom Studios in Fort Lauderdale. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Ben. And to our listeners, thank you for dropping in today to listen to Insight to Fitness with Benjamin Keeley and Tyler Merren. Now to our first story. Rosters have come out for the USA Basketball Women's Olympic team. While there are many WNBA athletes that were able to celebrate this wonderful accomplishment in being able to compete for their country, there was one notable name that was left off of this roster and will be deemed an alternate for the roster. And that name is the WNBA's 2024 number 1 overall pick, Caitlin Clark. The USA basketball staff responded to this shocker by saying that it would be irresponsible to put Clark on the roster as she does not have enough experience. However, the USA basketball staff expects and hopes that Caitlin will be a part of their future. Caitlin Clark's response to all of this noise was "They woke a monster." In our next order of business, Apple has just began their rollout for their new updated software, iOS 18. This new software update has many new features that will be pleasing to some and not so pleasing to others. The most notable feature of Apple's new software update is their use of AI, which means Apple Intelligence instead of artificial intelligence. This will be available on all iPhone 15s and later iPhones. The Apple Intelligence feature is full of new tricks. Other features that will be included in the iOS 18 software update include being able to write to Siri, taking control of app icons, increasing interaction in a message, redesigning of Apple Photos, controlling the control center, making your apps private, and managing your mail easier. Lastly, Hunter Biden, who is the son of current President Joe Biden, has been found guilty of all 3 felony gun charges. This is the first time in the history of America that a standing president's child has been found guilty of felonies. This verdict does indeed impact the presidential race of his father, Joe Biden. Don't forget to share the wisdom with a friend. Thank you to our listeners and the Wisdom for the Blind studio. Now back to you, Ben and Tyler.
Hi, I'm Christina Hepner.
And I'm Leslie Hoskins, and we're hosts of the Taking the Lead podcast from Leader Dogs for the Blind.
Our podcast provides insight into the blindness community and impactful stories from our clients.
At Leader Dog, we continue to be the answer for thousands who need our free services. These include guide dog training, white cane training, and more. Once clients complete training, they're reintroduced to a life of safety and independence.
Learn more at leaderdog.org.
Are you a big geek? Do you enjoy learning about new technology? Then join us on the 4th Thursday of every month for the Wisdom Geek Club at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also hear a pre-recorded episode on Wisdom Radio every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. For more information, hit up w4tb.org and click on the Geek Club button on the main page. And don't forget to share the wisdom with a friend. You're listening to W4TB Radio from the Wisdom for the Blind studios in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where we share some wisdom to help you navigate the seas to stay in calm waters. Please visit us on the web at w4tb.org or drop us an email at feedback@w4tb.org. You can also download the W4TB radio app at the Apple Store or Google Play. Please share the knowledge and tell a friend. Now, back to the show.
Well, thank thanks for sticking with us, and thanks to the studio for that great information. Allie, we appreciate it. Hey, Tyler, this has been another great session. I appreciate it. And from my heart, man, congratulations on your daughter and the baby. I hope everything goes well. We look forward to the status on that, and look forward to hearing on the status of your training and all of that great stuff in the American going to Paris. And hopefully you'll be part of that team. Look forward to that.
Yeah. I super appreciate it. I'm just tremendously blessed. We just have so much to be thankful for, and just my trying to do what I can to pay it forward. So I enjoyed it, Ben. I was really glad to be here with you guys, and I hope people are hearing this and getting some good information out of it. I hope they start asking questions and start looking at these things differently. Giving themselves opportunities, opening doors. So it's been great, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, all the time. I appreciate it. And everybody, thanks for dropping in. Please remember to share the wisdom, tell a friend, pass the podcast around, come back and see us on our next episode. This is Tyler and Ben from InSight to Fitness at the Wisdom for the Blind Studios coming to you. And don't forget to share the wisdom.
Looking for a fitness app that is accessible for the blind? Well, look no further. Revision Fitness is just what the trainer ordered. This audio and text-based fitness program has a wide selection of fitness options, including cardio, strength, yoga, balance, flexibility, and even progressive relaxation sessions. Download Revision Fitness on the App Store or Google Play, or visit revisionfitnessapp.com and get a free 14-day trial for new users. Find your fit with Revision Fitness. And as always,
Revision Fitness. Let's change the way we look at it.
What's more perfect than exploring other cultures and dipping your toes in turquoise waters? And doing these things with your family and, of course, your brothers and sisters at Wisdom for the Blind. Don't miss Wisdom for the Blind's first Caribbean Forum at Sea aboard the Carnival Celebration, with games including mini golf, a relay race, basketball, and more. There will be learning workshops in technology, the VA, and medical advancements for the blind. The cruise sets sail from Miami on October 27, 2024, and will go through amazing ports like Costa Maya and Cozumel in Mexico, and Mahogany Bay in Roatan, along with 3 spectacular days at sea. Make lasting friends and incredible memories while learning about fabulous cultures and customs. The cruise starts at just $405 per person based on double occupancy, not including taxes and fees. Go online to w4tb.org/forum or email Wisdom for the Blind at forum@w4tb.org. Book now, space is limited, and don't forget to share the wisdom and tell a friend.
You've been listening to InSight to Fitness, produced by Wisdom for the Blind and VNS Productions, a division of VNS International. Being blind or unsighted doesn't mean you can't live an active, healthy lifestyle. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, visit the website at w4tb.org. Don't forget to share the wisdom and tell a friend.